Well, the teams are out, they're ready for the anthems. Let's cross to our commentary team of John O'Neill and Michael Clark.
Thank you very much, Joel. The players lined up on the pitch in front of us as we await the beginning of the national anthems. We'll remind you the team news, the other side of them now. We're looking forward to the game and we believe we can do it. The words of Michael O'Neill heading into this match of undeniable importance. Northern Ireland's penultimate fixture in Group A of these World Cup qualifiers. They arrive in Košice depleted, missing the entire midfield trio that impressed in the first 4 games and facing a Slovakia team who have maximum points at home, having already beaten both Germany and Luxembourg by 2-0. Defeat here would almost definitely end Northern Ireland's top 2 hopes, with Germany expected to win in Luxembourg tonight in the other game in the group. There's also a scenario that 3 teams could end up on 12 points, and wouldn't that be something? But to speak plainly, the message is must not lose. Can those who were drafted in rise to the occasion? Could this become a night of legend for the travelling faithful and those 11 men in green? It's never usually straightforward for Northern Ireland, is it, John O'Neill? And given what's at stake, this could be a nervy night.
Yes, it'll be a tough game for them. Their home form has been good. They were poor in Belfast. I couldn't believe how poor they were, considering they'd beaten Germany. But when you looked at the table, Michael, it's 9, 9 and 6 when we expected that to be 12, 6 and 6. And the hope maybe that we might have nicked something from Germany, or we thought that we might have had to go here and get a point. But as you rightly said, we mustn't lose here to keep ourselves in it until the last game. We've lost 3 very, very important players in midfield. We have got Conor Bradley back, and that's going to be a big, big plus for us. But it's a tight little ground. It looks a lot like Windsor Park. I'm sure the crowd are going to get into it. We've got to make sure that we keep them silent as long as we can. And Michael has obviously gone for experience. And on the defensive side, he's brought Saville back in again. I think, we're looking at McConville for his height. And when you look at the goals and the chances that the likes of Daniel Ballard are setting up when he's playing in Sunderland, that could be our best chance of getting a goal. Defensively, I think we'll be sound. But as I say, they have got to think that they're going to win this game and clinch that second place, because to be quite honest, I can't see Luxembourg doing anything against Germany.
Well, I was talking about men in green. The tracksuit tops are off, and Northern Ireland are all in white. Change strip tonight against Slovakia, all in blue. And
important we start right, Michael. Important we don't give them anything, which we did in Belfast. We played them off the park and we didn't make anything silly or stupid. I think they had one chance late on, which might have caused us problems. But outside of that, we were in control.
Isaac Price kicking things off. Northern Ireland playing from left to right. And the Northern Ireland team, Peacock Farrell in goals, McConville in a big night for him in defence alongside Ballard and Paddy McNair. Human Devaney are the wing backs. Lyons and Saville are in midfield. Bradley and Price a little further up the pitch, and Dion Charles spearheading the attack as it's a chance to get into the box early for Slovakia, and a little nervy for Northern Ireland as they manage eventually to stab it away. Dan Ballard putting a bit of distance on it.
I'm surprised actually that McNair let that go over his head. I thought he was going to clear it. He obviously didn't realise that there was a blue shirt behind him, and Ballard had to be quite quick to get rid of that.
Ballard and McConville working well together to stop Slovakia manufacturing a shot as they, on their right hand side, come forwards once more. And this time it's the turn of Paddy McNair to take charge and clear the ball away before Strelitz could get a shot off. Lively start from the home side.
They've started well. Would you expect that anyway for the home side? It's the old sort of saying, Michael, you've got to keep it quiet for the first 20 minutes, and then you start getting into the game.
It's a spell of possession that they will enjoy, in Northern Ireland won't mind that too much. Even in the Slovakian press conference, they talked about the fear that they have of the speed at which Northern Ireland can break.
Yeah, I think that's when we are most dangerous, when we're breaking out from the back.
Slovakia aiming for what would be their second World Cup since gaining independence, qualified for the finals back in 2010. Much has been spoken about the 40-year wait in Northern Ireland's attempt to end it. Can they move a step closer tonight? 2 minutes gone. Slovakia 0, Northern Ireland 0. And it is the team in blue moving the ball around as Bradley's just clipped the heels there of Hanko, who missed the game in Belfast. His wife went into labour 3 hours before kick-off, so he probably made the right decision not getting on that plane. He'd heard about that one. Little boy Dominic, second son, arrived safely soon after. Northern Ireland have all the bodies back at the moment, trying to thwart this move as Saville. He's on the ground, and the second stab at a shot from Milan Skriniar. That gives you an idea just how far up the pitch the home side are when Skriniar, who is one of their centre backs, is taking a shot from 18 yards.
Yeah, they've squeezed us, particularly in around the 18-yard box, but we've got plenty of white bodies behind it, and it's important. And Price is unlucky there. He's blocked Skriniar's attempt to clear it there, but it's actually rebounded back to the centre half. And we've had the bodies in front of Peacock Farrell, and the lineup's compact. So at this minute in time, they look solid enough. And they've just given it away, which they've done. They did a lot in Belfast, under no pressure at all. They've just given us the ball.
Long diagonal ball, which was brought down well by Trey Hume, and Bradley hugging the right touchline. So a little dummy inside, took an extra touch, and was clipped by Haraslin.
Bradley's good going forward, no matter whether he's playing as a right wing back or in midfield. He is a threat going forward.
To recap the Slovakia team: Burnley's Martin Dubravka in goals, Hanko, Obert, Skriniar and John Bear the backline, Rigo, Lobotka and Barrow the midfield, and Haraslin and Juric either side of Strelitz as Northern Ireland win their first corner of the night.
Yeah, they took a free kick, takes a free kick, and Bradley's up the right, and the challenge comes in and it goes out for a corner. And as I said, I think with the height that we have in the team, and especially the threat from Ballard, if we can get a decent ball into the box, I think he'll cause their defence problems.
Trey Hume's the player moving the ball across. He's going to take this set piece as the whistles attempt to Put off Northern Ireland. They've gone short with a corner to Devaney, and he's tried to return the ball to Hume, and they've got it completely wrong between them. Free kick conceded.
He's trying to be too clever. Just put the ball in the box. I mean, he's got Devaney out there. They try and do a 1-2, and the pass back to Hume is poor. And he ends up giving him a free kick, and the chance is gone. I don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a free kick into the box, and you've got Ballard in there. Why don't you just give him a chance?
Those are the frustrating moments when you get all the way up there as centre back and then you realise they're not even going to put the ball into you.
But I mean, it's obviously something they've been trying to work at. But
Price receiving the ball and spinning was quickly smothered, but his attempt to pass, thought that should have been a throw into Northern Ireland. It looked like it took a touch of a Slovakian player. Trey Hume saying that.
It's what we've been saying all along about Price. You know, he scores some brilliant goals, but his general all-round play, you know, to make him a better player, he's got to improve on that, because again, his first touch was poor, and that's what caused the poor pass.
Bradley closing down an attempted clearance, but Northern Ireland now able to, at the second time of asking, retrieve the ball, and they have it on the halfway line. Galbraith suspended tonight. 5 players in the squad at risk of picking up a second yellow card. Of those on the pitch are Ballard, Devaney and Saville. As Northern Ireland from the right hand side get a ball in, it's gone all the way across to the far edge of the box. Devaney back on his right foot, Price with a header, and it was dipping onto the bar, but not at any great pace, and Dubravka able to rise and gather.
Yeah, it's a good break. It was a good ball in. There just wasn't enough pace on it, and the header was looped up, and it was easy for Dubravka to take that.
Played every game so far in the Premier League this season for Burnley. Martin Dubravka had a difficult night in Belfast by all accounts. Lobbed spectacularly by Hume.
It was a great finish, wasn't it, for a centre half or a wing back.
Bit of possession for Michael O'Neill's side now as
that's good play.
They pop the ball to Charles, and just as we compliment them, he stumbles.
I mean, again, it's a simple ball, and he just loses control of it. And instead of us, being on the offensive again, we're back defending.
7 minutes gone. Slovakia 0, Northern Ireland 0 in Group A.
It's difficult from being in the studio here, Michael. I'm not sure what the atmosphere is like, but it seems quiet enough at the minute.
Northern Ireland fans trying to make themselves heard as Slovakia played out from the back once more and go to Adam O'Bart. Northern Ireland aren't going to rush, are they, John, to go out and meet the defenders?
Absolutely not. It's up to the home side.
And that frustration nearly that no one's coming to get us and make it easy for us leads to a long ball that is sent so long that it's out over on the far side for Northern Ireland throw, and nothing Barrow could do to retrieve that situation.
A couple of times they're looking to get that ball in behind Devaney there, for Barrow, but both times that they've tried to do it, the pass has been too long.
Northern Ireland launching the ball towards the halfway line. Charles doesn't even jump for it for him to get near.
Yeah, he deserves a better ball than that. He's got no chance with that type of ball.
Peacock Farrell continuing his time in goals, not with the injury to Pierce Charles. He's
done okay since he's come back in again.
He's earned his place. Yeah, he had his critics. The most thankless position in football. Michael O'Neill is just outside of his technical area having a little chat with the assistant official about a throw-in that didn't go his way. Northern Ireland have stolen the ball back here as Hume finds Lyons, and Lyons decides to go back to Ballard, and what a season Daniel Ballard is enjoying.
Sorry, Michael, I just thought that back pass to the goalkeeper was a little bit short, but it was okay. Yeah, he's been absolutely outstanding. I watched him in the Arsenal game, and defensively and from an attacking threat, he was brilliant.
Got his goal, got an assist as well.
Yeah, and then he put in a tremendous block right in the last minute, to prevent Arsenal from going in front.
Ticking every box, and just laughing there because a moment ago Conor Bradley almost ran into one of the cameramen at the side of the pitch, and he just gave a little pat on the back to acknowledge. So
they're taking chances at the back, you know. They're, as most teams try and do now, they try and play out from the back. I don't think they're that good, and that one went a little bit wrong for them, and they got themselves in all sorts of trouble, but eventually went out for a throw-in.
Yeah, and
they've just given it. I thought they'd given it away again.
Just about able to keep the ball in. It's a pretty settled back line for them too. The only alteration maybe is Lubomir Shatka's not in the squad for this one, and he has played a couple of the games, but they have played with each other enough, but it's maybe the style of play that's causing the problem, as you're alluding to at times for them. They have the ball on there right now. Northern Ireland not giving up any space and conceding a throw-in, not letting the cross come in from Djuric. Home fans want a bit more pace and purpose to their attack.
I think that's going for corner, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. We've got the block in there. Peacock Farrell let it pick it up at his near post, but it had already gone across the line.
Yeah, put his foot out, got the studs to it. So it is a corner over on the far side, which looks like it's going to be Lucas Haraslin to take. Both sides of their first corners now.
They're quite tall side as well, Michael, so we've got to make sure we match them here.
Haraslin, who plays for Sparta Prague, Northern Ireland's assistant Dermot O'Carroll, is the assistant there too, so I'm sure has passed on plenty of notes as they managed to keep the ball in there. It looked like it was drifting out harmlessly. An overhead kick kept it in. It's now 25 yards from Northern Ireland's goal. Dealt with the first phase, and the second phase is loading.
Yeah, the corner itself was a good corner. It was in my face and we defended it well. We just didn't pick it up on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Charles moving the ball left. Price wanting more touches than time would permit. Ceding possession. That will frustrate Michael O'Neill, but
just give it away again.
Well, his counterpart probably, Francesco Calzona, won't be too happy with some of the passing coming out of their defence.
That's a poor ball by Drake. I'm not sure who he was looking for there, but that's just gone straight through to the keeper as well. So, both teams are hitting wayward passers.
They look to play the ball in behind, and really good aggressive goalkeeping from Peacock Farrell right at the edge of his box, able to let it roll in and then land on top of it to stop Rigo when he was trying to make the run. Yeah, it wasn't a bad ball. He picked that up right on the 18-yard box, and a good shout from Conville, good confident goalkeeping by Peacock Farrell. Saville does well, gets a foot out, wins the ball on the halfway line. Now on 63 caps, moving level with Jerry Armstrong, 24th most capped player for Northern Ireland now, George Saville. Considering he's found himself out of the starting panel the last while, it's an opportunity for him as well. The opportunities don't just apply to the younger members of the squad. Some of the more experienced players will feel it's a chance for them as well. Slovakia pinned into their far defensive corner and screen here. What did they do? I just wonder, is it a little slippier underneath than maybe we appreciate, because they've tried to play it from the back again and give it back to us momentarily. It's really scrappy, Michael, isn't it? Dangled a leg. Both teams can't get it down and get passes strung together. They try and play out from the back and they cause themselves all sorts of problems, but per challenges, per interceptions there have let them off the hook. Well, the last two visits for Northern Ireland to Slovakia were a 2-1 defeat in World Cup qualifying in Bratislava in 2008 and a 0-0 draw in Trnava in 2016, right before the Euros, remember? A couple of big injuries then, and everyone was sweating. Aaron Hughes won his 100th cap then on that night too. Northern Ireland fans singing Stephen Davis's name as Slovakia stroke the ball down the left-hand side. They step into the penalty area and they're trying to queue up. The fans are begging for a shot. That's brilliant defending. There's three Northern Ireland defenders that are trying to block the shot, and I think it might have been Trey Hume that actually was the one that got it. Good defending again. Haraslin causing problems down the left-hand side, and then the ball arriving with Tomáš Rigo. And Rigo in the end giving away a foul after his shot was blocked. Peacock Cog Farrell with the free kick inside 15 minutes.
So far, I don't think they've put us under as much pressure as I thought they would have done at home, and we're having as much of the ball as they are. There's just, both sides are lacking that little bit of class, particularly when you get to the final third. Again, the number of times they gave the ball away, it's incredible.
Well, we're back defending at the moment after they couldn't quite cut out a ball forward with a header. Ball's back in the halfway line now with Ballard, who's able to open his body up and push the pass forward to Hume. It's on to Lyons, now Saville.
From what I've seen at the minute, this game's there for the taking, because I don't rate them at all. I keep saying to myself, I can't understand how they beat Germany. I just can't understand that. And at this minute in time, from what I've been seeing for the first 15 minutes, Northern Ireland have very little to fear from them. Just keep it nice and tight at the back. Don't make any silly mistakes, and I'm sure we'll eventually get a chance or two.
Just feels like there's a little pocket of space, doesn't there, that always seems to open up there. They create problems for themselves.
Both teams seem to be able to, find that little bit of space and maybe get 2 or 3 passes together. But it's that final pass in the final third that hasn't been good for either side.
Well, Slovakia got the home win against Germany that Northern Ireland were unable to do, as the free kick comes in. It's Sam Ballard. Oh, so close.
That's what he does. He'll be absolutely ripping at himself there. He should have scored. He really should have scored. It was a brilliant free kick in, and they say Dan Ballard, makes all the room for himself. Good ball in from Devaney.
He floats it in, and Ballard arrives.
Oh, he'll be disappointed.
8 yards out, just glances it off his head and beyond the post to the keeper's left-hand side.
Yeah, he got it more on the side of his head, than on the forehead as he tried to steer it in. But that's a great chance. And that's the threat we've been talking about from the start. So, the more we can get the ball into that area, particularly obviously from free kicks and corners, when Ballard's up there, he is a threat.
You just expect him to score now, don't you? He's so good in the air.
Even if he doesn't score, he's provided 2 or 3 assists, from set pieces for some. And
Northern Ireland have scored in their last 5 away internationals. We'll hope to continue that trend. Failed to score at home against Germany, ending a run of 10 consecutive games that they'd scored in. The last time they'd gone 11 in a row was 1961, so it probably was a little greedy to hope that would keep going. But coming close to opening the scoring on their travels tonight. Still scoreless in this massive game. Looked like it could have been offside. The flag stayed down for the moment. Strelitz is in. He's hit the inside of the post, and it's come back the way of Juric, and he has headed off target.
It's difficult here from the studio, but they were looking for offside. I can't see whether it was or not, and I don't think the referee's assistant has put his flag up, so that was a let-off. It was a good strike, but it's come back off the upright, I'm not sure who was coming in. Was it Juric at the back post? It's hit him on the head and flown over, but that's a warning for us. But just looking at it again, I don't think he was offside. He's absolutely rattled it on the post.
Has leathered that off the inside of the post, and as well, with there being VAR, it's the ones that the assistant officials are told, keep your flag down, let the play develop, and we'll correct it afterwards if we need to. They don't want to stop a promising attack. That certainly was, and Northern Ireland delighted.
Both sides now have had a good chance.
That a lick of paint came to the rescue. You don't want to be relying on a flag going up or a VAR check. Hume.
It's too close to the keeper. You can see what Hume was trying to do just on the edge of the 18-yard box. He wanted to go someone going down the outside on his right-hand side. There was nobody there, and he's just lofted a little ball into the box, but easy enough for the goalkeeper to come and take. So it's a pretty open game, Michael. It's both sides are up and down the pitch, but neither of them were able to convert 2 good chances, one each side.
It's almost a shot in the arm, wasn't it, for Slovakia after the fear of Ballard's header? They went straight down the other end, and the Middlesbrough man Strelitz coming ever so close, inches away from finding the top corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether we were just caught for pace there or whether we did try to step up and play offside, but we got away with it.
Lyons was putting his hand up there asking for a foul. The referee not going along with those claims. Our referees and his officials from Romania tonight. Istvan Kovac, his 4th time that he's taken charge of a Northern Ireland game. The previous 3 were a 4-0 win against San Marino in 2016, that 0-0 draw at Windsor Park against Italy, and a 1-0 defeat against Slovenia, in which Shea Charles was sent off a couple of years ago. No omens to be found in that statistic. Slovakia on the left-hand side, again the near side, getting a deep delivery into the penalty area, but nobody inside the 6-yard box, which that cross curled into. It's able to take a bounce and go out of play.
Yeah, it was easy for Northern Ireland. They had nobody attacking it, and Peacock Farrell was happy enough just to let it go out for a goal kick. Just got a little bit of impetus from that chance. Been a little bit careless with a few passes, particularly inside their half, just giving it away.
There was a brilliant exchange. There was a number, I think, in Michael O'Neill's press conference, because he was very relaxed. He was told that he lost his first game. He also lost his 100th game in charge. He says, yeah, but I did some things along the way. He won a few games. I think I beat Slovakia, which was quite a bold thing to say. And he was also asked about Northern Ireland being annoying, which is what Lobotka said, and he said, I think that's a compliment. He says, my wife calls me that, so he's not one to be phased, is he?
It's unfortunate that Shea Charles is not playing here tonight, because I think this is the type of game we could have got him on the ball, and we would pick the passes through through their defence.
That midfield 3 had played every game together
as well,
and Ali McCann, who does so much of the dirty work.
Yeah, he does. He works very hard.
Fractured arm for him, so big disappointment.
First goal is going to be very important to you. At this minute in time, either side could score it.
And that's why nerves will jangle. Coming up to the 22nd minute. In Koshetsa as the cross comes in and is dealt with once again by Northern Ireland's defence. They're getting bodies back. They're very regimented.
Yeah, but we're giving them too much room on the right-hand side there.
Ball dropping to Strelitz. He's trying to create a little angle for himself. His attempted pass stopped by Saville. He blocked it on his left foot, fell on his backside, cleared it with his right foot.
Yeah, it's a good period for Slovakia here. It's the first really period of extended pressure that either side has got.
Well, they are advancing once more down that side, as you say, where they've had a bit of joy. 3 players connecting, and Ballard is pleading his innocence.
I'm not sure what he's complaining about.
He was the wrong side
He looked to be the wrong side.
The attacker. And a card has come out for Ballard, which means he's going to be suspended and miss the Luxembourg game on Monday. As the pass was played through, he was the wrong side of the attacker. And
I honestly can't understand Ballard. I don't think he was booked for the foul. I think he was booked for he kept complaining to the referee. I can only assume that. I mean, it's stupid booking anyway. But it's definitely a foul. I mean, you got the wrong side of the defender, and I don't know what his complaint was about.
Well, it's that time in the campaign, isn't it, where when it is 2 yellow cards over these games, and it'll get you a suspension. Northern Ireland knew that coming into the match, and Ballard, the latest player to miss out. Bradley missed the last game. Galbraith missed this game. They're defending a free kick from the far side. Just stay with that as they have an absolute mare on that one.
I don't know what he's trying to do. He's drilled it right along the ground. It was easy enough for us to clear it. It's not the bookings, it's the manner of the bookings. If you could book in a last-ditch challenge or something like that, but I mean, those bookings are for nothing. The only thing is that it's Luxembourg. I say that in inverted commas. But if you're going to miss him, maybe that's the best game to miss him.
He'll need to be on his best behaviour for the rest of this match as well.
Which looks as if it's cutting up a little bit as well.
Try and test his resolve.
Since they've hit the post, they've been the better team.
Slovakia on top. Scoreline
could have went anywhere there.
Still Northern Ireland. It's ricocheting around. I mean, it is just a nervous looking group of players at this moment in time. Harassling gets past Isaac Price, and it was a bit of a cross-come shot, really. Wildly lashed at that, and it flew all the way across for a throw-in.
Yeah, it was far too much pace on it for anybody in a blue shirt in the 18-yard box to get anywhere near us. But it was scrappy there. We're trying to clear it, and we're hitting our own defenders.
Yeah, hit Devaney, then it hit Lyons, and that, it kind of shows you nearly how the wing backs and the midfielder are sitting so close to the defenders that if a defender just panics a little bit, tries to swipe it anywhere, it's going to hit somebody and come back. And Peacock Farrell is down now. Whether he's genuinely in pain or whether this is a little tactic to
just never know, do you? Just never know.
To try and calm things down. He's got one leg folded over the other, and he's receiving a little bit of attention on the bench tonight for Northern Ireland. Conor Hazard and Luke Southwood, should they be required. Seems to be his knee that's being worked on.
Did he have a problem as well in the last game?
Yeah.
My memory serves him as well. I think he might have had a problem there as well.
Well, I can tell you that Francesco Calzona isn't very pleased with this stoppage in play, because he feels that Slovakia were building up a head of steam. He thinks this is gamesmanship, and he's pacing up and down like a raging bull.
Yeah, but he's got to realise that it's the shoes on the other foot. They'll do the exact same, so what's the point? It's difficult for referees, it's difficult for referees to know whether you're injured or not.
Yeah, especially with goalkeepers.
But having said that, Michael, it's not a bad time for him to go down either. It just takes a little bit of the sting out of the game, because certainly that's the best maybe 5-10 minutes that Slovakia have had in the game.
Well, the fourth official is over trying to pacify the rather irate Italian in the Slovakian dugout. Peacock Farrell's back up. Northern Ireland get play back underway with a throw-in, which they throw to Slovakia. Devaney giving the ball away. McConville able to earn Northern Ireland a throw-in. And whilst there was a stoppage in play, Trey Hume had quite a lengthy conversation with Michael O'Neill.
Him and McNair and Ballard, trying to sort out a few things there.
Do you think they were telling the manager or being told by the manager?
No, I would say the manager's had his say there. I'm not exactly sure what he's been telling them, but
when you make 5 changes and 4 of them enforced, you expect the cohesion to be a problem to some extent, don't you? They've built up such a good understanding, that particular starting 11.
Well, I think it's more what they're doing than what Northern Ireland are doing.
Crossfield ball under no pressure from Slovakia.
Not a great side, I'd be disappointed, if we don't take something out of this game on the showing of the first 27 minutes here.
Groans from some of the home fans as Northern Ireland get a throw in from that latest sloppy passage of play.
Yeah, it's a good decision by the referee. Charles is trying to hold him off. If we're going to play the long ball, we've got to get a butter ball into him. We've got to get closer to him, because most of the ones that we've hit up have just come straight back to us. He's holding there, and you can see he's holding him.
Linked arms with Milan Skriniar and tried to lock him into place right in front of our referee.
He's not going to win too many balls in the air against Skriniar. So he needs a better service to, even give him an attempt to hold it up and bring us up the park.
Such an experienced player.
We keep giving it away, and then they keep giving it back to us.
Not able to get Bradley on the ball.
No, we can't.
Which is noticeable.
And
playing in that advanced role tonight.
Well, I don't know whether, would we be better off starting further back and coming on to the game, because I know he's outstanding when that happens. At this minute in time, he can't get on the ball.
Ball back in the hands of Peacock Farrell, just testing how good his leg was feeling, because he had to come running out to gather that, but made light work of it. Did appear to wince though as he booted the ball up the field left-footed. Got flicked on, and Bradley bursting into the box.
One of the few ones that Charles has won, he got a little frick on it, and the defender needed to get in there just before Bradley on the edge of the 18-yard box.
Hooked it out for a throw-in, which Trey Hume will wind up. Northern Ireland fans singing loudly, just about audible through the whistles that always tell you who has the ball. Humes through, looking for his clubmate Ballard, just couldn't pick him out, but Saville gets the ball. It's helped into the penalty area, and it could be helped goalwards. It was by Dion Charles. Not enough power on his header, and Dubravka makes a comfortable save, but they switched off at the back there, Slovakia. I don't think Skriniar realised that Charles was behind him.
No, it was a good header by McConville, but as he's headed it back across the goal, and it's bounced up for Charles. He just can't get enough on it, and a goalkeeper that size was never going to be able to loop it over him. But it was again a half chance.
2 goals against Mansfield in the EFL Trophy, a goal and a couple of assists against Plymouth on Saturday. Dion Charles finally starting to hit form for Huddersfield Town. His first goal against Mansfield was an absolute collector's item. Not really. It was kicked off him and looked over the keeper, but that was how he broke his goal, Duck, and since then things have been flowing for him. He's had a couple of opportunities tonight.
I'm not sure that's a foul. Saville claims he's got the ball. From what we could see, he may have done, but it's probably the follow through that gets him. When I was playing, that was never a foul.
Well, it looked a good tackle to me, John. Free kick was given against them though. Harassling cutting in from the left and the ball drops 20 yards out, and it might have been Juric that swung a right foot at that.
Yeah, he wasn't confident in that at all.
He scuffs it quite a few yards wide of Peacock Farrell's post, and 1 or 2 Northern Ireland players are having a chat with the referee at the moment. They're not too happy with 1 or 2 decisions.
I think Bradley's just having a word with him in regards to Saville's challenge. That, there's 2 or 3 talking to the referee there as well, and they need to keep their mouth shut, to be honest, because he's already booked Ballard. Let Bradley do it. The captain can talk to him, so let him do it.
We certainly don't want Saville to get himself in any bother. If he was suspended, given the midfielders missing, that would pose a problem. Blatant foul by Skriniar off the ball.
I think Charles did well, actually, because Skriniar's coming to head the ball, and he steps in front of him and more or less just blocks him to the ground.
Nothing wrong with an aggressive defender, but that was so blatant that not even an attempt of a disguise from the former Inter and PSG defender. You're listening to Slovakia 0, Northern Ireland 0 on 5 Sports Extra, Radio Ulster and BBC Sounds in Group A. This World Cup qualifier, a must not lose night for Northern Ireland as they pursue a top 2 finish. They have the ball over on the far left. They'll have a throw in as well. They've come through a period of Slovakian pressure, just started to try and impose themselves a bit more in the last few minutes.
They've come back into the game.
Saville, good disguise, leaving the ball for Devaney.
It's a poor cross.
Well,
he's got to whip that in with pace. He's on, I don't know if he was trying to pick a player out and pass it to him, but it went nowhere.
It's so smart from George Saville. He steps in front of Maciej Beru, and he just stands there knowing the contact is coming. He falls forward, glares at the referee, whistle blows. Slovakia would complain, and Northern Ireland have a free kick and a chance again to test them from a set piece.
It's almost on the touchline, maybe level with the 18-yard box, but it's a good position or a good angle to get the ball in. And as I say, we've got McConville as a big lad. We know what Ballard can do. Price is in there as well.
Ballard, who went close with a header on the 17th minute. Can he go one better here? He's amongst the bodies, jostling in the centre. 4 of his 5 goals for Northern Ireland have come from set pieces. This one's on the ground. It's been flicked on, and oh dear. In the end, so is it McConville maybe gets the last touch on that? It goes up into the air and out.
I didn't even see the cross come along. I don't know what the director's doing in the pictures here, because we missed the actual free kick coming in. It seemed to go in low. It was flicked off somebody and went to the back post and became nothing again.
Must do better. Those are the areas that Michael O'Neill will be so keen for Northern Ireland to exploit.
Well, set pieces, when you're under no pressure, when you've got a free kick at the ball, I can't understand why it's not a good delivery in. It's got to be offside, surely.
Flag has stayed down. Northern Ireland are going to end up with a free kick, but for a different reason, because Ballard able to get his body in between Strelitz and the ball, and Strelitz has sent him over.
I tell you what, it's a good interception from Ballard, because again, it doesn't look as if the referee's assistant was putting his flag up for offside, but I think that time he tried to play offside. Ballard needed to be there. Obviously Strelitz has fouled him.
Well, his performances have been so good, Dan Ballard, that one or two pundits got confused and were calling for England call-ups. 33rd cap tonight, incidentally, for Northern Ireland, but he's a popular boy and you can understand why. Northern Ireland, well, had the ball, but they've been told that it's a free kick to them.
It was a free kick, and to be fair to the referees, tried to let the advantage go, and when it didn't occur, he's called it back.
Hume takes it, moves it to the left. Bradley's over there at the moment, doing everything on his right foot. Has spun around, managed to just about keep his balance. Saville now trying to step over, got tackled, wins a throw-in.
You see the pitch starting to curl up. Bradley tries to turn quickly there, and he's lost his footing completely.
Chilly night, as you would expect for this time of year, but the pitch does appear to be cutting up underfoot as well. Throw-in comes in. Slovakia at the second time of asking, able to rid the danger, and now attempting a break. McNair is there. It was 2-on-1 against him, but the ball broke his way. He went to Peacock Farrell, and he's gone back to front with speed, and the header has rolled to a free man in the form of Kilmarnock captain Brad Lyons. Northern Ireland just taking the steam out of things, slowing it down and getting control of the ball again. Almost caught out. Price. That's again, shocking challenge really on Lyons.
It's a shocking challenge, but Price has set him up there. That's a suicide ball, and he's all the time in the world he makes sure he gives him a good pass.
Well, Barrow not booked for arriving late there. Only player cautioned so far. Dan Ballard, who will miss Luxembourg at Windsor Park on Monday. How many points will Northern Ireland have on the board by then? Drawing in Slovakia as it stands, with 8 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. Free kick from a deep position, and before they can take the free kick, the referee's going to go over and warn one or two players who are pushing and shoving. That'll definitely change things.
Just go back to it as soon as he turns away.
Devaney on set piece duty, putting the ball in. Ballard was going for it. Price went for the shot, and it flashed across the goal. Dion Charles stuck a boot out, but couldn't make any contact at the far post.
It'll be interesting to see whether he was offside. It was a good strike by Price. Couldn't get it on target, but the pace of it just beat Dion Charles on the edge of the 6-yard box. But I would wonder if he had made contact and got it in the goal, would that have been offside? Again, it wasn't a great free kick from our point of view. They made a total mess of it. I think there was 3 of them actually went for the same ball and then allowed it to fall to Price, just inside the box. Set pieces have been poor.
And it looks like Slovakia have struggled with them all the same, so get them better, and logic stands to reason. There could be some joy there. Northern Ireland trying to manufacture something from open play. Saville's pass was a poor one, just slowed everybody down.
Everything down, the ball should have been in front of him.
Chopping it back to his teammate Saville on the ball again now. Northern Ireland have it over on the far side. And then answers on a postcard as to what Devaney was trying. I think he was loosely thinking Price might be in the vicinity, but it was nowhere near him. The pass was poor. It's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was tight for him on the touchline, the defender in front of him. He's tried to just place it down the line, hoping that Price would get on it, but he didn't get enough on it.
Northern Ireland won't be too disappointed by the scoreline by any means.
40 minutes here gone in the match, and we're still well in it. And you just love the players to, get that confidence in themselves that, this team are there for the taking.
And when you look through the 4 games that Slovakia have played so far, the only team to score against them, also the only team to beat them, is Northern Ireland and Belfast. 3 clean sheets so far, 2 of those admittedly against Luxembourg, who are propping up the group, but that historic win against Germany laid down a marker.
That's a foul, surely. Skriniar just comes straight in the back at Dion Charles. I don't understand why he didn't get that one.
Right between the shoulder blades. Charles has picked himself up. Referee not offering any sympathy to the forward, former Bolton man. Northern Ireland through McNair, and now Hume advancing on the right hand side, and Conor Bradley checks back in. There's not a lot of room for him to operate in so far. They're trying to find some for him. The give and go. He's on the touchline. He's pulled it back into the penalty area. It's with Lyons on his left side. He had to try and turn and get a right-footed pass.
It's the first time we actually saw Bradley get free up that right-hand side.
Is there a big end of this first half? The visitors are hoping that there will be for them.
I think we're struggling in the middle of the park. I think we need somebody in there who can, who can pick a pass. We just don't have anything there at the minute. We're just lacking a little bit of quality there.
Well, Raslin threw himself to the ground expecting a whistle to go. It wasn't given, and I think it was a good call from the referee. It looked like he went over soft, and Isaac Price did a little spin, ran out of ideas, and had a shot from distance that sort of squirted towards the keeper.
I think the defender may have got something on it. Ended up more like a back pass.
Michael O'Neill will have plenty to say, I'm sure, at half-time.
Yeah, I mean, like if you had said it, at the start of the game, would you be happy to get in at half-time? No, you would have said, yeah, absolutely. But on the, on the pace, the way the game has turned out, you'd be disappointed as well that we haven't created more.
Have to make sure they don't go behind 2. Raslin gets the ball into the centre. Saville stretched the boot out initially, but it was Lyons that cleared it.
Yeah, just a little bit nervy sometimes when you're going down the right and down the left and the ball's coming into the box. I don't think they need to be. They're better defenders than that,
Dan Ballard just grabbed Saville there and had a word with him, just trying to calm things down, showing his leadership. Skriniar back on the ball once again. It's rolled all the way along that line. Somehow it didn't cross the line on the near side, and Slovakia, after a really poor pass, everyone stopped thinking it would have gone out, and somehow it didn't. They've managed to stay on the ball, and they're just popping it around midfield at the minute, trying to find an angle to do now what they've done, which is a diagonal out to their right, header down, pass inside, and Lyons, did he even look? He just left foot launched it.
He's just launched that up the park, and he needs a call there. There's nobody around him. Just turn on the ball and start, going forward. Probably, a little bit of inexperience there. It doesn't want to get caught at that so far in his own half, but just a small call to turn and go forward.
Only his 6th cap tonight, Brad Lyons, and his first start since his debut back in October 23 against Slovenia.
Again into the right hand side. You keep looking for it.
This time they were able to nudge it on a little bit. It's towards the byline. It's rolling along that line now. Northern Ireland get a foot in. They thought it was going to be a throw in. I think it's actually a free kick that they've signalled for, and Rory McConville is letting the referee know what he thinks about that, but it's not going to change anybody's mind.
I think the assistant referee gave a throw in.
The referee's got his vanishing spray out, so he's ignoring what's being said around him. McConville got his foot in, got a toe to it, put it out for a throw in. The attacking player falls over through the momentum of the challenge. Wasn't any simulation there either, but they've got a decision.
Yeah, and it's a good attacking position for them. You've got to defend it here. Or have our wits about us and make sure we don't give it away, so late in the half.
Last minute of normal time in the first half, right footed out, swinging free kick into the centre it comes, and the volley from Skriniar was a really good one. It's gone over the bar. and he is right on top of the referee asking for a handball. The referee hasn't even pointed for a corner.
Great strike by the centre. It's actually hit the top of the net.
He is right that there's a deflection, but it would never be a handball. It was Paddy McNair. His arms were tucked in. It's come off his bicep. It should be a corner, but it's a goal kick.
If you're claiming a penalty for that, where are you supposed to put your hand? To get your hand out of the way, you've got to hold it out. Ridiculous.
VAR in operation, and they didn't waste any time with that one. It's telling us anything needs to be in an age where everything's stopped and checked for seemingly ages. 2 minutes of additional time signalled by the fourth official, which we have just entered. Slovakia 0, Northern Ireland 0. And in this must not lose match for the visitors, second versus third in Group A, Northern Ireland will be pleased, I think, overall with how it shapes up.
They had that one shot, that canned off the upright, and they've had a little bit of joy on that right hand side in behind of any. That's the ball that they seem to be constantly looking for. But maybe the first half, when you look at it, 0-0 probably a fair result. But as I say, I just think somebody needs to do something with a little bit of quality to open it up.
Well, there is an offside flag up. And I would say it felt like one of the less obvious offsides. But
I'd say the coach would be absolutely furious there, because Araslin has got his back to the line. He's looking straight across at the assistant referee on the other side. He must know he's offside.
He's pulled his jersey over his face, so I think he might know deep down as he jogs back like a scolded boy. So nearly 90 seconds of the 2 additional minutes have elapsed already.
The game's crying out for a player on either side to get a grip of this game and start dictating the play. And unfortunately, I don't think either team have that quality of player. And as I say, that's where we definitely miss the likes of Shea Charles and Nathan Galbraith. That's the type of the player that we need in the team at the minute.
And Conor Bradley pushed over by Obert, who was arriving behind him.
It'd be interesting to see if he maybe changes Bradley and puts him back to his wing back, where he's more coming on to things, because it isn't happening for him at the minute.
The Cagliari defender had no need to push Bradley in that position.
So we're 2 minutes is up now. They'll probably blow it up after this, so get a good delivery in and see if we can get a chance.
It's going to be Trey Hume, right-footed, deep in. Ballard heads it down. Saville leaning back always, still searching for his first goal. Volleys it over.
Strike to get that. But sums it up. It's a half chance that he snatches out and puts it over the bar.
Half-time whistle has sounded, John. Scoreless at the break. Your thoughts before we head back to the studio?
Northern Ireland will be a happier team, obviously, coming in away from home 0-0. We really only created maybe one, possibly two half chance maybe, but from that point of view, they'll be pleased. They'll be a little disappointed that they haven't imposed themselves more on the Slovakian team, but the point of the game at the start was we don't lose this game, and so far so good. And if we can get a goal ahead, I think we're capable enough to see the game out. And as I was saying, probably halfway through the half, the first goal is going to be very, very important and could decide the game.
John O'Neill, thank you very much for your thoughts. More from John in the second half. The half-time score, Slovakia 0, Northern Ireland 0.
Yes, so no goals in the first half. We'll be back with John and Michael for the second half. I have the company of Jim Magilton, Keith Gillespie and George McCartney with me. We'll get their thoughts on what they made of the first 45 minutes in a moment or two. But first, let's get you the very latest BBC News.
BBC News NI on Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds.
And with the news, I'm Jessica Lawrence. Good evening. Government sources say income tax rates will not be rising in the budget in 2 weeks' time, despite the Chancellor Rachel Reeves inferring she would have to in order to balance the government's finances. A forecast from the Office for Budget Responsibility found the economy in a less gloomy position than previously thought. The BBC's political correspondent Nick Eardley says the Chancellor also wanted to reassure Labour's backbenches that she would not break the party's main election promise.
They were worried that it would damage trust in politicians, which, as we all know, is already pretty fragile. So the Chancellor has decided to climb down on that income tax rise. The position we're in tonight is that it will not go ahead, but there are still some big tax rises likely in a couple of weeks' time, and they will be controversial too.
The former minister of the First Derry Presbyterian Church is calling on the moderator of the Presbyterian Church to step down with immediate effect and not wait until the end of the month. Reverend Trevor Gribben, who was installed as moderator in June, resigned on Wednesday after what he described as serious and significant failings in safeguarding within the church between 2009 and 2022. The church carried out an internal report after concerns were raised, but this has so far not been published. Reverend David Latimer, who was a minister for 40 years before retiring, has backed calls for an independent investigation.
It is good that he has had the courage to step down, thinking of people, thinking of the hurting people. But somehow I'm inclined to think that if he felt it was important to step down, why wait to the end of November? People are wobbling with faith issues, with belief issues, and their confidence in the church has been shaken right to the very core.
A spokesperson for the Presbyterian Church in Ireland said that Dr. Gribben had made his statement and he has nothing to add. Donald Trump says he'll call for an investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's alleged ties to major banks and leading Democrats, including Bill Clinton. Interest in Epstein's connections has resurfaced after lawmakers released more than 20,000 documents, some of which also mention Mr. Trump. A 64-year-old man has been charged after claims that someone posed as a high-ranking Navy officer at a Remembrance Sunday service in North Wales. Jonathan Carley from Harlech will appear before court next month. The Down Recorder, one of Ireland's oldest newspapers, has ceased publication after 189 years. The owner, Marcus Crichton, confirmed the final edition of the paper was published on Wednesday. He said the newspaper industry was experiencing difficult times and he thanked all the readers and supporters. The weekly newspaper was based in Downpatrick. Local residents and business owners said it was a sad day for the town.
I didn't know it was going to end very soon. So many people who worked there over the years, photographers.
Very sad for the town. This town grew up on that paper and everybody brought it every week to read, all the school reports, everything.
That's terrible. Sad because I buy the paper every week. I always love that paper.
And now with the weather, here's Cecilia Daly.
Mostly dry initially this evening, but it'll turn increasingly cloudy and damp from the southeast, with outbreaks of rain and drizzle moving north. Windy with strong gusts, especially towards the coast. The rain will become heavy in places overnight, particularly across Armagh and County Down, where a heavy rain warning has been issued. The northwest will probably stay dry. Overnight lows of 5 or 6 degrees. Tomorrow, some further spells of rain and drizzle could be heavy in the morning, especially in and around the Mournes. It'll be largely dry in the afternoon and still quite blustery.
BBC News.
There's a new home for Ireland rugby fans.
They played well that day, but they also brought an edge. How dare you disrespect us?
Former Ireland and British and Irish Lions star Conor Murray teams up with BBC Sport and Eye's Gavin Andrews.
It was like watching a computer simulation the first half. I don't think they dropped the ball.
With analysis, guest interviews and some laughs along the way.
Wink.
The Ireland Rugby Social.
That was a different era. All right, well, tell us about it.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is Sports Sounds International Football. Listen live on digital, online or on BBC Sounds.
Yes, welcome back. We're watching Northern Ireland against Slovakia tonight in the first of the final two group matches in the qualifying campaign for next summer's World Cup finals. Hopefully, we'll be watching some playoff matches when it comes to March, but we'll explain all of that as we go along. So remember, tonight, if Northern Ireland avoid defeat in Slovakia, then they still have a chance of finishing in second place in the qualifying group behind Germany, and so far it is 0-0. Also tonight we were keeping an eye on the game between Croatia and the Faroe Islands, because if Croatia win, then it means that Northern Ireland are guaranteed a place in the playoffs via their Nations League finish, which of course came to a conclusion at the end of last year. And as things stand, it's 1-1 between Croatia and the Faroes, so still a little bit of work to do if that is to happen tonight. Jim Magilton, Keith Gillespie and George McCartney have been watching the first half of the game in Kosice with me here in the studio. So Jim, I will start with you. What have you made of that first half?
I think last month we discussed the possibility of injuries can affect the momentum in the team, and it certainly has shown that. You know, the lads that are missing it's clearly evident. It's not to say that the lads that have come in haven't done a decent job. I think you're away from home, it's still 0-0. I think there's a lack of belief when Northern Ireland have the ball. If they were ever in possession, I think this team, you can carve this team open, given all that, the best opportunities that have come to Northern Ireland.
I mean, Daniel Ballard's header, Keith, is it one of the best chances of the game, do you think, in terms of that? Is it a bad miss, or will he be disappointed that he hasn't hit the target?
I think so. You know, he's already scored a couple of goals this season in the Premier League, and you know it was a good ball in. The goalkeeper was in no man's land, and I just think it flicked off the side of his head. If he just had a head at it in the middle of his head, you know, back where it came from. So yeah, I think he'd be really disappointed. But you know, I just think that both sides are just lacking that little bit of quality, really. Jim said it as well. You know, if we do have more belief, you know, the game is definitely there for the taking. Yeah, they've hit the post, George. Dion Charles has had a couple of chances, but when you look at the list of, you know, clear opportunities, there's definitely more in the Northern Ireland column, isn't there?
No, well, there's nothing in the game in terms of high quality from either side in open play. No team's really getting on the ball and making forward passes or forward runs and creating too many opportunities. Northern Ireland's best chances have all came from set plays, and he actually wrote down after 15 minutes how important set plays are going to be. And I think Price has missed a chance, Ballard's missed one, Dion Charge and the Saville half chance at the end there. But no, there was a couple of really good opportunities in there, one for Ballard and Isaac Price's when it failed to the edge of the box, and he sort of had a snapshot. I'm thinking, no, can Dion be on his toes there and maybe react a wee bit quicker? Listen, I came at him quickly, whether he was offside or not. But no, it seems to be at the minute chances in open play are few and far between.
Jim, the phrase has been used quite a bit, both on air by John and by you three sitting here. The game is there for the taking.
It really is, yeah. I just think
is that the message at half-time? Did you try to communicate that to the players to try to say, listen, you know... Yeah. On the basis of what we've seen in the first half, there's not a lot to fear here. We've had 45 minutes of football against Slovakia, and they haven't shown a lot.
No, they haven't. And that experiment, if you like, not so much an experiment with Connor. Lopatka was in the early stages was maybe trying to get on the ball and dominate things, and then Michael went, Connor, go and do a job on him, and that kind of way nullified that threat, but didn't get the best out of Connor. So we're again going back to Connor. You know, his best moments came in wide areas, so he might tinker with that. The other one is Devaney maybe coming into the centre of the park. I'd like to see Devaney, because that's where he plays. That's his natural position. He's done a great job on the left-hand side. I just think there's more opportunities to play through Slovakia. I think Slovakia are definitely there for the taking. I don't think they've been... Yeah, like the emphasis is always on the home side to come out and dominate. Okay, the possession 60-40 maybe, but the real threats, when Northern Ireland actually pass it through them, I think they can create more opportunities, and maybe then you get Price and maybe you get Bradley in those pockets of space where they can go and run at them.
Yeah, and there are even again more examples, Keith, where they look as if they're going to get possession up and deep in their own third of the pitch. Slovakia, they seem intent on trying to play quite a bit in their own half, but they don't look overly comfortable.
They don't at all, and at times it's good pressure from Northern Ireland, because if you know they're going to try and play out, you're going to want to, put the pressure on and force that mistake, and you obviously win the ball higher up. I just think, I don't know whether, we're sort of thinking, if we get a point tonight, we're thinking Germany will beat Slovakia in the last game, so you don't want to, throw all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. So maybe it's been a little bit negative at times.
Unless it's a very different Slovakian performance, George, in the second half. On the basis of what we've seen so far, you'd be desperately disappointed if you came away from this game and you lost.
No, the games are to be won. But just touching on, I think the first 15 minutes we pressed Slovakia high up. We had 3 or 4 turnovers. No, they give up possession and nothing really came from it. But then we sort of dropped back a little bit near the halfway line, and just what Keith says, it's nearly okay. We've pressed you the first 10 or 15 minutes. Now we'll just stay in our shape. We don't want to lose the game tonight, but if a chance comes, hopefully we can land them one and take the opportunity.
Saville and Lyons, I'm not sure how many times they would have played as a pairing together, Jim, in the middle of the park. I think it's only Brad Lyons' second start even for Northern Ireland. So that's going to take time, and it's showing a little bit, hasn't it? In the middle of the park, we haven't really created anything in there.
No, and that's a difficult one. You're plucking these.
You said about changes, and it's not just about the changes of personnel, but it's where people are moved to and different pairings and all of that.
Yeah.
And many days have they had together this week? 3 or 4.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
No, and that's what we talked about again. When you walk away a month ago, you're hoping then that everybody remains fit, because the game's about partnerships and working with people. So McCann and Charles were forming a really good, solid base.
And then you lose both of them.
And you're dominating games. No Galbraith, because he gives you that quality on the ball, and he's a runner as well. So he gives you time on the ball, especially away from home. They finished the game actually better in terms of possession of the ball. So there was, 5 to 10 passes in a sequence. Well, that builds on the confidence. I think Michael will be emphasising the positives. Yeah, set pieces. George is spot on. Set pieces are going to be really important tonight. But I think that possession of the ball and getting your wing backs higher up the pitch. You get them higher up the pitch, it means that you're in the game.
Yeah, they're looking like they're about to come out of the tunnel. For the second half, there's Conor Bradley's just come around the corner and clapped his hands and goes into a bit of a jog and leads the rest of the Northern Ireland players out. What have you spotted there, George?
Yeah, it looks like Northern Ireland's going to make a substitute here.
Right.
Reid.
I think that was Reid coming on, so be interesting to see whether he's changed the shape or just went like for like.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll have a look at that. Out they come. Referee is walking up the steps. Match ball under his arm. We can hand over to our commentary team of John O'Neill and Michael Clark for the second 45 minutes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we can see Reid on the pitch. We'll wait for confirmation, but it looks like Dion Charles.
Looks like Charles, yeah.
Is the substitution made at the break by the Northern Ireland manager. And interesting that it's scoreless in the other game as well. You sit and you do your permutations and you think, oh well, if it could stay that way, if Northern Ireland could win, wouldn't that make things really interesting going into Monday night in Windsor Park in Luxembourg, and Northern Ireland then thinking about being on 9 points, same as Slovakia, and Germany just one better. You could win the group, John. I
can't believe that Luxembourg are still holding Germany. It just shows you what a crazy group this has been.
So just the one change at the break confirmation. Board's gone up. So Dion Charles off, Jamie Reid on. And do you think that is a tactical change?
I think it's probably just to give them a little bit more height up front, maybe a little bit more physical presence to deal with their 2 centre backs. Hopefully, maybe that he may get on the ball a little bit more to help us to get up the field.
Reid had started the previous 4 matches in these World Cup qualifiers. Had a goal disallowed against Slovakia in Belfast. I mean, he was miles offside, but he'll be hoping that he can pose some problems, and Northern Ireland will be hoping to give him better service than Dion Charles received in the first 45. Almost a minute gone in the second half. The Northern Ireland team.
Oh dear me, he's just given it away.
I'll run you through it in a minute, because Northern Ireland have given the ball away really cheaply, and Strelitz trying to get the shot off. He had plenty of players around him to block him. Ball across the face of goal. They've not cleared it yet, and Lyons in the end just puts his foot through it and out for a throw, and it goes. That was panic stations.
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrible ball. I mean, McConville, he's given the ball away just outside his own 19-yard box, and it's created all sorts of panic. George made a good point at half-time. I agree with him. Like, you know, if I'm playing in there, you know, as a centre half, the back three and the 2 wing backs have got to say, the worst we get out of this is a point. You know, so keep it tight, do nothing silly, and let the players in front of you carve out the chances. Because you've got to think that there's going to be at least 1 or 2 on either side, and it's important. And as I say, the team that takes the chance is probably going to be the team that eventually wins it. But make sure you give nothing away at the back. It'd be criminal to give these guys a goal. Let them earn it. Don't give it to them. And that was the point, you know, we're making there. Conville gives it away under no pressure whatsoever, just outside his 18-yard box.
He has played very little football at all this season. It's I guess the other way looking at it, a big sign of the faith the manager has in him to put him in a game of this magnitude, John, doesn't it? Because there's other players like Kieran Brown that are, yes, he's come back from injury, but he's playing for Oxford. Yeah, and
I don't think Brown has let him down. You know, there was talk that maybe him and Michael had fallen out over a game where he was wearing the wrong footwear. I don't know if that's just speculation or whatnot, but he doesn't seem to be picking him at all. And Brian, I thought, had played his way into the side. You know, when he first came along, I wasn't sure about him, but I thought he established himself and did well. And I was a bit surprised that he didn't bring him in again, considering, you know, that he may have been playing that little bit more regularly, and possibly Michael, as I say, is gone for McConville's side in relation to the set pieces. But at the end of the day, you got to defend first. Yeah. You know,
Milan Skriniar was a little fortunate there. The referee allowed an advantage. He went in and was quite reckless, I thought, on Jamie Reid, who'd got the break of the ball. Northern Ireland searching with a long cross, looking for Bradley in the right edge of the penalty area, and it's been headed all the way back to Dubravka. Just to quickly run you through the Northern Ireland team again: Peacock, Farrell goals, McConville, Ballard and McNair the back line, Hume and Devaney the wing backs, Lyons, Saville, Bradley and Price in midfield, and the half-time change, Reid on for Charles. We've played 3.5 minutes of the second half. Slovakia 0, Northern Ireland 0 in Slovakia. Far from the first time. Try to play it from the back, give it away. The ball rolled through to Reid. Took a touch, got it to Bradley on the right-hand touchline. Tries to beat his man. Wanted a bit more movement in the centre so he could get across it, and he checked back, went low with his cross and played it straight to the first Slovakian defender.
Well, he didn't have much option there. I mean, there was 3 blue shirts around him. I think Bradley getting very frustrated here. He just can't get any space. He can't get the ball, you know, in any sort of area where he can do anything, you know, positive.
The Slovakian team, Dubravka in goals, Hanko, Obert, Skriniar and Jomber. The defenders, Rigo, Lobotka and Barrow the midfield, and Haraslin, Strelitz and Juric. The attackers look to be out on the far side. Referee.
Island players are claiming it's out as well.
Referee had a little look at the Lino. Lino didn't give it. Nutmeg there on Devaney, and taking no prisoners.
Yeah, Peacock Farrell did well. It was a great nutmeg on Devaney. He left him stranded there, and the ball into the box. Peacock Farrell had to come and deal with it.
Yeah, had just rolled into the penalty area, but he wasn't going to risk trying to take the time to get down and pick that one up.
Oh, I think his momentum probably would have took him out of the box anyway had he picked it up.
Punted it into touch, throw in. John Bear looked like a foul throw, but I don't think they get given these days.
No, he doesn't know what a throw is.
Reid, well, he's certainly been involved, hasn't he, since he's come on. He's back there winning a throw for Northern Ireland. Had a couple of decent touches in the first few minutes. Settling into the game, the Stevenage striker, 31 years of age. Another of the Northern Ireland players also who are on a yellow card coming into this game. There, looking to...
they're trying to get Bradley away, but it's just not, the ball's just not good enough.
Well, Trey Hume will give him a chance. He makes the challenge. Hume wants to go back to him. He's been closed down and he's not going to give up the battle. Putting Lobotka under a bit of pressure, and the Napoli man.
Lobotka's done very well there. Probably was fouled as well, but the referees let it go because they're in possession.
Stylishly managing to keep the ball with 3 players trying to take it off of him. They switch sides to the near side now. They have it with their number 20, David Juric. He's looked inside and they've ended up going backwards a little bit here. Northern Ireland with all their players inside their own half. 51 minutes played, still scoreless, as Slovakia send a deep searching ball into the penalty area, which ends up closer to the corner flag, and they have to recycle it again.
Yeah, they've started better than us, and all the possession is theirs, but again, as we said in the first half, in the final third of the field, the quality is lacking.
Well, you have stressed the importance of the first goal in this game, and Northern Ireland will be all too aware of that. Slovakia, who have a really good home record, and that's despite the fact that they tour the grounds. Seemingly that carries with them anywhere in Slovakia. Played in Bratislava and Trnava before tonight. And the significance of the other game as well for them, they'll be just as keen to know that there has been a development, and that on the 49th minute Nick Voldemade has scored for Germany, so they are leading, as many expected them to, against the team who are pointless at the bottom of the group.
Well, this is what we've played 5-7 minutes, and it's all Slovakia. We can't get the ball at all.
Raslin,
be careful. I'll tell you what, McConville needed that touch there, because I think it was Juric was just coming in at the back post.
Really crucial touch from Rory McConville. The ball coming across the penalty area, and it was at that height where everyone seems to just leave it thinking there's no problem, and then someone appears, and McConville had it read. Slovakia now again on the left side. Araslin's gone down. Hume points to the ball. The referee points to the ground and gives a foul.
Maybe, I think Hume's tried to make the tackle and the ball's just evaded him as he's put his foot in. Be interesting to see it again, but he's actually gone over the top of the ball. He's missed the ball, actually. Maybe scraped the top of it, but he was always going to give him a free kick. It's right on the corner of the 18-yard box. So again, a dangerous position here. Got to make sure that that you're tight. The marking's tight. I'm wondering, actually, will they have an actual shot on goal more than a cross here?
Home fans beating the big steel drums behind the goal. Peacock Farrell hugging the post and pointing to players in front of him, trying to assemble the wall to make sure he isn't caught out.
Well, they've only got the 2 men in it, but still it's one of those ones where he could be nipped in or whipped in at his near post.
Braslin and Rigo are the 2 players standing over this on the corner of the penalty area. It's going to be Haraslin along the ground, and it's gone in. I don't know if there was a touch. The referee's looking across to the assistant.
If there's a touch, it could be offside, but if not, this has gone straight in, right along the ground, right into the far corner.
10 minutes after the restart, and Slovakia are in front, but there will be a check on this goal.
The Northern Ireland players are all standing there with their hands up. They seem confident enough that this is going to be offside. I think he's actually given it offside. All right.
Well, we'll look to see a replay in a minute, but yes, they've taken the number 1 off the scoreboard, and they may well feel that Milan Skriniar is interfering with play because he steps over the ball.
Yeah. That is definitely a let-off there. Definitely a let-off. Incredible.
And it would appear that goal has been chalked off.
I don't know whether he's
the goal check's going on now. We're getting it on our monitor.
He's almost told Peacock Farrell to put the ball down for a free kick, but as far as we can see here, the goal check hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah, it's still going on. So we wait and see. Your thoughts on that, John? Was that the free kick definitely comes through the legs of Skriniar, who was offside. So is that enough for your point of view?
It is, because Peacock Farrell can't move. If he thinks Skriniar is going to get a touch, he's got to react to that. So whether he got a touch or whether he didn't, he's still interfering with playing is probably the right decision.
And you can hear a cheer, a very faint one. Yeah. That's the Northern Ireland fans, the goal.
But that was sloppy. First of all, the ball was drilled in along the ground and nobody moved from it. And Skriniar's in there on his own as well. So that's the warning that you're always going to get. And they have started very well. We can't get in the game, and that's what happens. When you try and build a little bit of momentum. Hume's got booked, again over simple, stupid fouls, to be honest. We've got to get ourselves back in the game here.
Yeah, it's been a slow start to the second half for Northern Ireland, and Hume just dragging back Haraslin.
Yeah, stupid fouls.
Yellow card. So 0-0, still the scoreline. Skriniar was interfering with play as confirmed by the video assistant referee. Massive relief for Northern Ireland, and will they be able to gee themselves up from that and wake up a bit, because they finished the first half pretty well, but they have not got going since.
They haven't started the second half at all, and went to sleep slightly on the free kick, and we got away with it. So hopefully that's a wake-up call.
Caroline Poppa or VAR for this one. So, what's going on here? There's
I think it was.
Ball was thrown away, was it?
I think it was Strelic threw the ball up the pitch when Devaney was going to get the throw in, and Devaney's complaining. He was about to pick the ball up and have a throw in, and to a certain extent he's right.
Referee, oh dear, Isaac Price, hospital pass. He's gone to Haraslin. And Haraslin has, I think it's actually hit a gentleman's face in the stand there. He's sent it flying wildly off target.
It's one of those ones when you put in Rosette, what is Price thinking? He's passed the ball to him. He's in the centre of the field, about 10 yards outside the 18-yard box. And, against better teams, against better players, they'll bury that.
Yeah, it was a really, really poor pass selection from Isaac Price, who has been a peripheral figure tonight. Has not been able to positively influence the game. And again, we know he's one of those sorts of players that could just pop up and do something magical. Yeah. Oh, they decided to try and keep the ball in there. Skriniar, Bradley looking for a pass, trying to find Price. In the end goes to Lobotka, and he's a little dynamo.
Good pass by Bradley at the edge of the box.
Well, the home fans are getting restless. Reid trying to be a thorn in the side.
Trying to make himself a nuisance there. He's not actually getting at the ball, but he's he's making it difficult for the defenders. We need to get a hold of the ball and slow the game down a little bit, because it's been all Slovakia in the second half.
Looking at the Northern Ireland bench, just in case you're wondering about the substitutions that Michael O'Neill might be able to make, having already made one at half-time, bringing Reid on. In terms of outfield players, Jamal Lewis recalled on Sunday, got the phone call after his short-term deal to Preston went through. He's now back in the international fold. Terry Devlin, Callum Marshall, Jamie Donnelly, Paul Smith, Paddy Kelly, Jamie McDonnell, Josh McGuinness, Kieran Brown, and then Hazard and Southwood, the two keepers. So,
well, it's going to depend on how you've just given it away again.
Yeah, trying to move the ball to the left wing from centre-back position, and need to be so much more careful with pass selection. It's really been wanting.
Oh, we haven't got out in the game, and the passes we have been made have been poor. But you're talking about substitutions. It depends on what way this game goes. We're going to bring people on that we think might win the game, or are we going to bring people on that we think are going to keep us, with a point? And at this minute in time, we need to be better defensively than we do actually going forward at the minute.
"60 minutes played in Slovakia. Still scoreless between the sides second and third in this group. in the penultimate World Cup qualifying game. Northern Ireland hosting Luxembourg on Monday, while Slovakia will be travelling to Germany. Germany, remember, who are leading Luxembourg. Oh, the ball across the face of goal and bravely held by Peacock Farrell, who's taken a right old whack to the side of his head, John.
That was a great move by them down the left-hand side. It was a great ball into the box, you know, the near post, and Peacock Farrell had to go and win this, and he's taken a knock with it for his trouble, you know. And it's Strelic, you know.
It's his elbow, but there's no intent behind it. One or two.
He's had to go for the ball, and he's caught the goalkeeper. And again, you got to reckon that this is coming at an appropriate time for us, because we're really under the cosh here.
Well, he stayed down.
It doesn't look as if he's faking it anyway. From the close-up picture we can see, Michael.
He catches the corner of the forward's elbow as he's sliding in. His momentum takes him through. His arm is up somewhat, but it's not swung at him. It's not a motion towards him, but he certainly makes strong contact.
No, I'm not so sure when you see it again. And I think he knew exactly what he was doing.
I wouldn't like to believe that to be the case, but you may well be right.
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo sent off last night for swinging an elbow.
Yeah.
For Portugal in their defeat against the Republic of Ireland.
Well, that one wasn't as obvious, obviously, but I'm not sure if he just left it in there to make contact.
And they're obviously checking. There's considerable concern amongst the Northern Ireland bench just for the welfare of their keeper. He is setting up. He's just been thoroughly examined to make sure there's no concussion. He's been helped to his feet now, so hopefully
he's okay.
He's okay.
We've got to regroup here. You know, the players have got to have a chat amongst themselves and see what's going wrong. You know, I'm not a big fan of statistics in terms of possession, but certainly they have all the possession, and you don't want to be sort of that far behind in terms of possession, because all you only do is just offer them the opportunities, creating more chances.
Well, play is about to resume. Peacock Farrell has put the ball down, and the referee's trying to hurry him up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's probably done well. You know, he's got his side a little bit of a breather as well. There again, we've lost it again, you know, and they're coming straight back at us.
Aerial duel going the way of Slovakia. Haraslin. Oh, he's not sure. Gone flying to ground there, and Conor Bradley.
He's looking for it. As soon as he's checked back onto his right foot, you know, he's made contact with Bradley and gone down. I don't know what Bradley can do to get out of that.
I think understandably confused there.
He puts his hand up, you know, but again, I mean,
it's never a foul in a million years, is it really? He knows the arm's coming up, and as soon as it does, he flops over.
Yeah.
And the referee, I'm not quite sure how he falls for that.
That's the modern game. You can't do that, Michael. As soon as you put an arm or a hand on anybody, they're going to go down dramatically, but they don't really need to do all the dramatics. All they have to do is go down. You're going to get a free kick anyway.
Will they try and drill another one along the ground, bearing in mind that no one from Northern Ireland got a foot on the last one? It's a more difficult angle to do that. They are trying it. They've helped it on, and this goal will stand.
That's poor defending on the near post.
I think it was Hanko that got the touch.
Yeah, it was a great header. But again, it's poor defending. But Michael has been coming in, and I don't understand why the team can't recognise this, you know, and get themselves, you know, in the frame of mind here that, you know, this game's getting away from us. And Strelic, you know, gets a great touch on the near post. It's probably the best delivery in on the night. And you know, he's got a touch on the near post, and in my day, you always have somebody in front of the near post that he can't get that. You know, you don't. I think it's Conor Bradley that's with him, but you don't allow anybody to get even a chance of that. Conor Bradley should have had somebody in front of him, and there's not there.
I wonder how much he knows about it. The free kick is blasted.
I'm not sure is it Conor Bradley or is it Trey Hume, either whoever it is there on the near post. You should have always somebody right in front of them so they can't get that ball in there. Not marking anybody, just blocking the near post. They're having another look at this. I don't know why they're looking at it.
Well, they've already had one goal chalked off Slovakia. We'll have a look at this. We're waiting for a notification. David Strelitz is the player who's been awarded the goal. It wasn't the glancing header that I initially thought it was, and they've actually just now on the screen said that they're going to credit it to Haraslin if it stands.
It's a free kick.
And it's a handball.
Away from it again.
Well, what a night.
Dear me.
What a night it has been. Slovakia have had a second goal chalked off. So Haraslin, his free kick comes in from the far side. He pelts it. And initially I thought it was a flicked on header. Then we see that it's come up. I thought it was a shoulder, but they must have thought it was below the sleeve line. We're getting another look at it here. It comes off actually the elbow.
Oh dear me, that's just gone straight in between two defenders. I mean, we've got out of jail there. I'd like to see it again, but I know what you're saying.
The laws of the game, because it's gone in off an arm, it has to be disallowed. And to be fair, I didn't see that the first time of asking. We've got a better camera angle finally.
And it's not as if the guy's put his arm towards the ball. The ball's just come in. The two of them have challenged for it. It's gone between the two of them, hit at the back of his arm and gone in the net.
But if he were to kick it accidentally off his own arm and put it into an open net, it would be disallowed too.
I understand what you're saying, but it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, you have to feel on a night where Slovakia have had 2 goals disallowed now that if you don't see the warning signs and big flashing lights at this point, you never will.
You never will. That's absolutely right. You never will. And you're thinking, is our luck going to hold there and we're going to sneak a win here? But certainly we haven't got in the game. We're in 67 minutes now, and in the second half we haven't had a kick. We've had 2 goals. They've had 2 goals checked off. The first one, obviously. The second one, I take your point in relation to it hitting an arm, but.
And equally, I know where you're coming from, because it's one of those ones. If VAR doesn't exist, nobody's appealing for that.
Appealing for that, no. And to be honest, I don't know if anybody appealed for it. I think it was just VAR checked it. They're on the run again.
Yeah, they are really in the ascendancy and in the end trying to force things and take a shot, and it's gone flying over. 68 minutes gone. Slovakia 0, Northern Ireland 0. I mean, it's such an important game in this group for both teams and their World Cup ambitions and trying to put themselves in such a strong position going into their final match. You're listening to it on 5 Sports Extra, Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds, and Slovakia are now going to make their first change as Leo Sauer is sent on, and the player coming off is David Duric, the Rosenborg man, making way as the Feyenoord teenager, the 19-year-old, is introduced, a late sub against Luxembourg after starting the previous 3.
There's only one team looking as if they're going to win this at the minute, and it's the team in blue, unfortunately. I mean, we can't string 2 passes together again. That's a pass, I think, I'm not sure if it's from Bradley or Humes, going straight out of touch for a goal kick.
Michael O'Neill must be thinking about, what can I do to change this, because you can't leave it as is.
No. We need to get somebody on the ball that can pass it, get us 2 or 3 passes, get us up the park, slow the game down and take the momentum away from them. But every pass, everything we do is going straight to blue shirt.
Reid. Now Savo with Conor Bradley. A little touch to get it to Hume, who was able to accelerate away from his man and played a lovely diagonal ball to Devaney. Price wildly swinging a right foot at that, and Bradley, trying to arrive in, actually catches the heel of the defender and lets them off the hook.
Connor's got to be more professional than that. It lets them off the hook. They've knocked the ball out there, which was probably going out for throw-in for us, and it's a lazy challenge at the back post, and he lets them. Instead of being penned into their own 18-yard box, they get a free kick out.
Devaney making a good challenge. McConville to Price, left edge of the area, still going. Price tried to put it through the legs of Skriniar, experienced defender, made sure that didn't happen, got the block in. Clearance comes back to Northern Ireland. Is there a bit of an uptick in form here after a really poor half? And Bradley able to redeem things for Northern Ireland there, because he stuck his foot out, won the ball, and then was caught by Hanko, who probably didn't know he was there.
I'm hoping that he hasn't gone over on his ankle here, because the ball from Lyons was poor. It put him in an awful situation where he's had to make a challenge for it instead of just picking up the pass, in plenty of space. And he looks as if he's either twisted his knee maybe.
Well, George Saville over a word in the ear, getting him back to his feet now. So the Atletico Madrid man giving away the free kick after just a bit of industry really from Conor Bradley to try and turn a poor pass into something. The free kicks come in. The header from Skriniar takes it away from Ballard. Devaney sizing up the cross. Couldn't get it over Lobotka, who isn't the world's tallest midfielder, John.
It's poor again from Devaney. He's got to get it past the first man. And again, that cross is poor. It doesn't get past the first man again.
Yeah. No elevation on that at all. And Lobotka's fallen over himself, and he's got a free kick.
Convo, having a little stab at him, but again, the referee's giving him the benefit there if it's gone over.
Nick Voldemata has made it 2-0 to Germany. Tell you what, for a forward that is by many people deemed as very unfashionable, he doesn't have scored goals.
Well, he started to score goals, but the first game I saw him was against Northern Ireland and Germany, and he wasn't good at all.
Becoming a cult hero at St James's Park. Shot from Obert there from distance, smacks off his teammate's face. Oh, there was an arm I thought flung out there. There was, and a card is coming out. John Bear, he's doing the not me gov.
Pleading his innocence.
Devaney went down holding his face.
Oh, it's purely accidental.
It might actually just be a finger in the eye rather than anything else, but I don't think he did know much about it, to be fair to John Bear.
Accidental.
Change coming for Northern Ireland as Paddy McNair has his number held up, and it's going to be Josh McGuinness. So a change in shape, maybe.
Unless McNair is injured, I'm not sure why this is going on. Is he going to go to a back four?
So centre back off and a centre forward on. Hume could move into the defence. Bradley could go on to the right.
On to the right, yeah.
And then just it remains to be seen what to do with Reid and McGuinness. Will it be a front two? Does Michael O'Neill think that that's a potential? Or is McGuinness on because they've been struggling to deal with some of the set pieces? He just wants a bit of height in there.
Be all right.
He's won a flick on.
First header as well. Go on, hit
the
it.
Ball dropping. And yeah, it was always a stretch for Brad Lyons.
Yeah.
He's fired it off target. Can't believe
the header
it for
was
taking
won
it on.
by McGuinness, and it was headed back out. Lyons gets it down, and you don't want him to hit the target, but it was a long way out, and it was a difficult shot as well.
So Northern Ireland's second change after the half-time substitution that sent Reid on in place of Dion Charles. Nearly 74 minutes have elapsed in this game. Slovakia and Northern Ireland still 0-0 despite Slovakia having the ball in the net twice. VAR intervening on both occasions. Ballard lumps the ball out into touch, and the Slovakia manager leaves his technical area to go and retrieve the ball and try and keep the pace up as far as his team's concerned. They want to keep up the pace with Germany. Started the night tied on points with them. And away to Germany in the final game. Germany 2-0 up in Luxembourg. Scoreless here. Slovakia looking for a goal that'll stand. Haraslin again posing a threat. Peacock Farrell will be able to grab this one. The ball into the box, headed up into the air, and the keeper in the centre of his goal able to grasp it.
Yeah, it was an easy take for him. The ball, was hit right to the back post, and Barrow gets it, but he can only look it up in the air, and Peacock Farrell came and took it easily. I think Hume has gone in as a third centre back, and Bradley, I think, now is going back to right wing back.
Will he be able to influence the game a little bit more in that position? Northern Ireland with so many changes enforced upon them through injuries and also the suspension of Galbraith. They've definitely missed that creative spark that he and Shea Charles provide.
You've got to get closer,
McGuinness will flick on there.
Reid's got to get a lot closer to McGuinness. If you're going to hit him, you've got to try and play off him. They seem to be playing two up front, try and play it long, get McGuinness on the ball, and Reid sort of picking up the pieces in and around him. Game slowed down a little bit, which will suit us now. They've sort of, that intensity has gone out of the game for Slovakia at the minute, and it allowed us to come back into it a little bit and put them under a little bit more pressure.
It looks like a 5-3-2, doesn't it, with Price, Saville and Lyons, the three in the middle. Price is temporarily vacated that duty to charge all the way back to the opposing keeper. The ball with McConville, just needs to be aware of his surroundings, and he was. Strelitz keeping everybody honest, and Peacock Farrell.
It wasn't the best of ball, totally backed him by McConville. It didn't give him an angle, and the centre forward then has closed Peacock Farrell down, and there's only one place he can put it, and that was in touch on the halfway line.
Jamie Reid, you were saying he wasn't getting close to McGuinness. I wonder, is it because there's something wrong? He's down on the ground.
Yeah, he's shaking his head.
Only on at half time, but not a happy camper at the moment.
He's not.
Whether
he's coming off.
The universal symbol for night's over. We've got the winding up order.
And will he bring on Smith?
Or Callum Marshall?
Possibly Marshall.
77 minutes on the clock. The referee's trying to get Reid off the pitch. He wants play to continue whilst Northern Ireland figure out what they're going to do. And Michael O'Neill, his body language tells me all I need to know, that there's no sort of tactical thing about this whatsoever.
He's saying he doesn't know whether he's coming off or not. They've already given Michael a signal. He obviously hasn't seen it. He needs to get his sub warmed up, or he needs to get his sub stripped right away. Just that picture on the touchline, he was still looking as if he didn't know whether he was. I think they're talking on the headphones there that they're not actually. They can't hear one another. But the signal definitely went out.
Well, a very quick change. It's going to be Jamie Donnelly. Donnelly, the player who's sent on loan at Stoke City, but not even making their squad as of late. So a player that's lacking game time on for the last 12 minutes. We've heard before he said he wants to impress Thomas Frank. If he wants to impress anybody, if he could do something in these last 12 minutes, John, Northern Ireland fans will be very grateful. They didn't waste any time getting that sub made. I mean, Michael O'Neill was like, are you absolutely sure here? We need an answer.
Yeah.
You don't want to be 10 men for any portion of this game, especially when 11v11 they've struggled in this half.
I'm hoping now that that's sort of taking the wind out of the sails of Slovakia, and we can get back into it, which we seem to be doing at the minute. We're getting more joy up the park. We're holding the ball a little bit better, getting a few more passes together.
Josh McGuinness winning every header so far, the Exeter City attacker. And
somebody should be shouting at him, I'm not sure who that is, to hold the ball. He was flicked it on to nobody, with absolutely nobody around him. He should have get the ball down. Ballard did an absolutely brilliant there. He knew he was never going to get enough pace on the header to get it back to Peacock Farrell, so he actually headed it back over his head and totally flummoxed Strelic, I think it was.
I'm glad that's the F word you went for there. Really intelligent defending from Dan Ballard. Everyone thinks, well, he's going to have to go backwards, and he showed a great deal more composure and wherewithal than that.
Well played.
Good challenge in the centre. I think it was Lyons initially, but the play not working out for Northern Ireland there, because Donnelly wondered about that rust. Takes a poor touch in Slovakia. 10 minutes or so to go. Haraslin, little give and go, gets into the box, gets it back again, and the shot comes in. And it's right at the keeper.
It's a good one too, but again, sloppy. We just don't pick up the ball in the middle of their half, which we should do. And it's a good move by them. Little 1-2 in and around the box, and he plays it back to.
It's Hanko, the left back
again, and straight at Peacock Farrell.
Northern Ireland probably quite glad that it wasn't Strelitz on the end of that one. Will it be a corner here? Donnelly let the ball roll out, believing it was going to be, and then after it went out, the flag says goal kick.
Well, I don't think either him or Skriniar realised what the decision was going to be, but unfortunately it went for Slovakia, and he gives a goal kick.
Well, from some of the sounds around the ground, Slovakians maybe not feeling that too much has gone for them when they've had 2 goals disallowed in this half, but 0-0 still the scoreline. This game still there to be won by somebody.
Honestly, we've got ourselves back in the game a little bit. We're starting to get more joy and get ourselves further up the park, but again, it's going to be one mistake or one piece of genius that's going to open this up and win the game.
Where will that come from? 0-0, far from a disaster for Northern Ireland, remember. A must-not-lose night with Luxembourg to come on Monday, and the expectation being, of course, maximum points on Monday night against Luxembourg, who are on course to have lost all of their games coming into that. 2-0 down at home against Germany. But Northern Ireland equally cannot assume that the job is done here.
No. You've got to see it right. You've got to defend well, take your chance if you get a chance late on. And there will be chances towards the end of the game, and both sides will maybe get 1 or 2 chances, and it all depends then if somebody has the wherewithal to take them.
Slovakia ranked 46th in the world. Northern Ireland up 3 in the latest rankings to 69th.
I can't believe they're that far in front of us in the rankings, but the rankings don't mean a lot sometimes. That's a good tackle down the convoy. He's won it brilliant for us in the right area. We've got no.
Ball went to Lyons. Lyons has gone falling over.
He's got to be strong there.
Saville won the ball back, and that's a
nasty challenge.
Really nasty challenge, isn't it, on Bradley? And Bradley's saying it's the 4th time he's done that to me.
That's right. That's a nasty challenge. He's coming across the player. The player knows exactly what he's doing. He's just clipped him on the outside of the knee. I'm surprised he hasn't given him a yellow card for that.
Only 2 bookings have gone Northern Ireland's way tonight, Ballard and Hume. Lorna Slot won't want any more issues with full-backs. Conor Bradley's fine. So just over 7 minutes of normal time to go. Will there be a winning goal in this game? Peacock Farrell's long ball helped on by Ballard and just takes it away from McConville.
It was a great touch.
Another change. In fact, changes. Laszlo Benes is coming on, and so is Tupta. So freshening things up, Benes, who plays for Kayserispor in Turkey. And Lubomir Tupta, who plays his football for A. Larissa in Greece. Sent on for these closing minutes in the match. Haraslin, one of the players making way. I thought Haraslin's been one of their best players, to be honest, but he's taken off.
We've got our tails up a little bit here because they keep giving the ball away inside their half, and it's allowing us, to play in their half of the field, which we haven't done for the majority of this half.
Donnelly on the far side of the pitch, just playing the ball off his marker, getting Northern Ireland throw in. So Rigo and Haraslin, the men that made way. Stadium announcer is just getting his head around the changes now, but play going on. Saville winning his battle. Price letting the ball fall and rolling his pass to Bradley on the right. Lots of Slovakian blue shirts are back. Northern Ireland moving the ball in front of them as things stand, trying to just open up a little bit of room to get one of their creative players on the ball, and Bradley never has had an angle really to make a run. One in the first half, and that was about it. Devaney controlled on his left foot, crossed on his right. It was a better ball from him, dealt with by the centre half, and he's just blasted that against the legs of Lubomir Tupta.
Yeah,
throw in.
McConville's just given a little header, tucked it right in front of him. He couldn't do much about it. He's just blasted it straight at him and went out for a throw in.
Well, the good news is that elsewhere, Croatia in Group L are 3-1 up against the Faroe Islands, and barring something remarkable, it will be confirmed tonight that Northern Ireland, at the very worst, will have a World Cup playoff via their Nations League.
Yeah, but it would be nice if we could nick one here in the last 5 minutes, and possibly clinch second spot, which will make it a little bit easier. It's still going to be very difficult no matter what happens, but it will make it slightly easier.
Still time to do it. Rule nothing out. 4 minutes left of normal time. We'll have a few to add on as well with substitutions and stoppages.
Sure.
Oh, maybe a little way through here. Devaney left of goal, takes the shot on. He fizzed that. Oh, the flags come up after the fact. He forced a save from Dubravka.
It would be interesting, Michael. I don't know what Michael's thoughts on it would be, but does he get word through to the players on the pitch? Look, we've got a playoff spot here. It's sewn up. Have a go. 5-6 minutes, whatever it is in injury time, just have a go and see if we can possibly, well, I suppose we can still possibly do it with the point. Depending on anything's going to be depending on goal difference, isn't it? After that, so maybe not. Maybe just keep it the way it is,
Slovakia stringing a couple of passes together. Laszlo Benes involved getting the cross in and just wouldn't sit initially there for Devaney. He was able to hook it over his own shoulder. Donnelly, well, he's been he handled it and then he was fouled.
He was fouled before. It was a handball before he was fouled.
So the referee calling that one right. Stanislav Lobotka looking on, and Bobček and Bojanek are going to come on. They've actually, I think, sent the wrong player on in terms of the corresponding numbers, but I don't think Bojanek's going to be coming back. He's legged it on, the Stoke City man.
Well, they've got a free kick here again, which is one that they're obviously going to put into the 18-yard box. Got to make sure, we keep a concentration, defend it, and see out this last maybe 3 or 4 minutes, whatever it is, plus stoppage time.
Well, it's two forwards that they've put on. Bobček, who's on for his international debut, the number 8, top goal scorer in the Polish Ekstraklasa, their top flight. Jomber and Strelitz, the players that make way.
A shocking pass.
Bojanek, he hasn't managed to score for Stoke City since joining them. It's 2 years since his last competitive international goal as well, and his manager said he's a sensitive boy. He's feeling the pressure. Northern Ireland don't want to do him any favours and improve his mood in these dying embers.
Well played. Well played by Bradley. I'm sorry, Trey
Hume too. Bradley, yeah. Bradley looking for McGuinness. That one just a little over his head. Ball on the halfway line with the hosts. Falcons feeling frustrated. Oh, terrible touch. The ball's out of play. And an apologetic
over this. It's a throw in midway through our half over on the right hand side. We were coming into the last minute. It'll be interesting to see how much extra time they're going to play.
Game number 101 for Michael O'Neill.
It's unfortunate, that we lost so many players coming into this game. It could have the quality that we were missing here, may well have, tipped the balance in our favour.
Yeah, could have even had a more positive complexion than it already does. Ball squeezing under the boot of Bobček, and Saville went down asking for a foul. Referee says nothing doing. Benes has a shot. It's blocked. It's going to be a corner, and Northern Ireland would need to get bodies back and in position, switch on, because I don't think Benes will waste too much time here.
And he's whipped in a couple of good crosses here, so we got to make sure that we're tight. Everybody knows their job.
Waiting for confirmation of the additional time. We are into it.
See, they've done it again. They've got that man on the near post, and Bradley's had a go with him, but Bradley cannot get in front of him. We've got to get a boy in front, and that's all his job is to do. He's not marking anybody. He just stops that ball going in at the near post. And, you know, we've already lost a goal, or possibly have lost a goal on it.
The ball's come in, the keeper's missed it, and it's turned in. And Slovakia lead in stoppage time, and their bench empties.
I don't know what Peacock Farrell was doing there.
Oh, he's come and he's made a meal of it, Peacock Farrell. And Thomas Bobchek on his international debut, with what has to be one of his first touches of the ball, has scored the goal, which is possibly going to give Slovakia victory.
But again, Michael, this came from a corner. The first corner that came in was played on the near post, and like the first goal, the blue shirt gets a touch on it, and it comes off Bradley and goes out for a corner. The corner's whipped in again. Peacock Farrell misses it completely and is stabbed into the net. And my point is that we didn't learn from the first time. You've got to have a man on the front. I mean, as a defender, you've got to be screaming, get somebody in front here, and we don't do it.
Corner from the far side. The keeper comes, and he is not even really committed to trying to get the ball. He just dangles an arm. Well, it's bizarre. It's a moment of madness from Peacock Farrell, and it's a simple finish for the centre forward standing in the centre of the box. He got away from his man, and he side puts it into an open net. Slovakia 1, Northern Ireland 0.
Oh dear me, what a way to lose a game.
And unless there's going to be even further drama, those top two hopes,
we said it all
gone.
along, you know, it was either going to be a horrendous mistake or a piece of genius, and unfortunately for us it was an awful mistake.
Well, how incredibly frustrating for Northern Ireland, Germany and Slovakia.
I'd just love to know what Peacock Farrell is thinking there, because as you say, Michael, it's not even an attempt to play the ball. He just seems to wander out of his goal.
And it was as if he momentarily was lost. He didn't dive towards it, he didn't come flying out, there was no sort of conviction in his movement. He just wandered into an area and the ball floated beyond him. And what a gift, and now it could get worse. They're shooting from distance, he's out of his net.
Oh dear me.
And it's dropped a couple of feet wide in the end.
Yeah, Bobchek embarrassing again, you know.
Well, he nearly had the debut of all debuts.
We're pressing on the attack, and the ball's knocked back up again. And Bobchek gets the better of Trey Hume, but he's only about 10 yards inside his half. He sees Peacock Farrell off the goal, and he tried to lob him and didn't get the direction, but it was a good attempt.
Well, when I saw 8 minutes, I thought it might be bad news. It is Northern Ireland's best hope of getting something back in the game. They've needed this additional time because they conceded so quickly into time added on, but will they be able to do that? What have they got left? Ball sent forward, helped on by McGuinness, nodded on by Bradley. Donnelly just moved a little too far right for him. They're queuing up in the centre. They need a good ball in. They'll take a corner. They've got one.
Yeah, we need a good delivery in here. And good deliveries have been few and far between all night, but
94 minutes, halfway through the time added on. Josh McGuinness standing beside the keeper. The whistles growing louder from the home fans. They want the game over. They've a while to wait yet, but they're about to confirm their top two place. Unless Northern Ireland can salvage a draw in a game that felt like was there for the taking at one stage, but this second half has certainly been dominated by Slovakia. 3 times they've had the ball in the net. The first 2 didn't stand. The third one was a gift and has stood. Throw in, long throw in, not long enough. Oh dear. Saville studs the ball past Hume on the left, out for a throw in.
It's taking the pressure off, and it'll take an age now to take this throw in as well, maybe 15 yards from the from the goal line. We've got to push up and really make sure that they don't get out of here and try and win the ball back and get one last chance.
Well, they are strong at home, unbeaten in their last 7 coming into this. 5 wins and 2 draws, about to extend that. As it stands, 3 minutes of added time remaining. Donnelly beaten in the air. Saville helps it on. Then Price. Wouldn't fall for McGuinness. Lots of players in blue jerseys back defending for their lives now. McGuinness got the call to move on. Saville got the touch as he broke into the box, and his touch took it into Dubravka.
Heavy, yeah.
And Dubravka has now decided that he needs a moment, and they'll do everything in their power to kill as much time as they can. And just hit off the side of his head, really. Saville never had it under control.
No, I don't think he's touched the goalkeeper at all. And you know what?
Dubravka has been told to get on with things. Fourth officials.
He's given him a free kick for that. I don't know why.
Signalling a change. It's going to be Kieran Brown. It's Hume that's gone off. He's taking a high five from his manager. He's not in a good mood. You can understand why. Kieran Brown has come on for 2 minutes of added time, and he's chewing gum. Maybe just opened the pack, have he? Dubravka still hasn't taken the free kick. He has now. Brown wins the header. His first involvement. Bojanic to the man who's set to win the game for Slovakia. Bobchek. We have it on the near side. And it'll be a throw into Northern Ireland. Kieran Brown staying with his man. Into the last minute we go. Ball at Northern Ireland's corner flag. They need to get it up the other end and fast. They've got a throw in just inside their own half. Desperately running out of time. There will not be many more chances. Can they get it into the box?
I was just going to say, will we even get it into the box here tonight? It's struggling to get it up the field.
Throw in helped on by Ballard. Put it into the air by Brown. Put it back into the air the opposite direction by Slovakia. Brown's put it into the sky. And that was a really nice first touch. Saville is pulling the jersey of his man, and he's got himself suspended.
Since he's come on, Bobchek's been the best player in the park. He has. Really, really busy, causing all sorts of problems.
And you have to ask the question about understanding what you're doing. Why bother being suspended for Monday night now when you're already missing midfielders? I know top two's gone, but just taking his frustration out at the end of the game on a night they'll look back and wonder what if. Had the Ballard header gone in the first half, one we've seen him score before, but the fact of the matter is Slovakia were much the better side in the second half, and we're at the referee's discretion now in terms of how much longer we have, but we've played 25 seconds past the 8 minutes.
I'm surprised that he lets it go in much longer, because I don't understand why he would. Somebody else is getting broke now.
He sent off Dan Ballard. Second yellow card for Ballard, and he's away, heading down the tunnel.
I was chatting to Joel, and Joel was saying that the yellow cards, I think he said, was rescinded after the competition's finished when it goes to the playoffs. And what about red cards? I'm not sure that would be the case or not, but I mean,
he was going to be suspended anyway. He's just made sure.
I know, but what I'm saying is that
was it even a bookable offence? He's being deemed to have used his arm.
That's really falling apart at the minute. I just don't understand that either.
So Northern Ireland will play Luxembourg on Monday in what will feel like a bit of a dead rubber now.
Yeah.
Because the top two in the group will have 12 points. Northern Ireland remain on 6. So nothing can change on Monday night. Northern Ireland will have a play-off. The full-time whistle sounds. That will come via the Nations League. They'll be away from home. They'll be against one of the top-seeded teams. It's going to be difficult, but before we let our studio guests analyse that, John O'Neill, your thoughts on what ends up being a really disappointing night for Michael O'Neill?
I don't think we were good enough to win the game, but I thought we were still, well in it to come away with the point, which would have, took us to Monday's game, which would have meant something then. But I just don't understand what Peacock Farrell was thinking when he came for the corner. He made no attempt on the ball. He almost as if he just wandered out of the goal. And Bobchek was left with a side foot, just at the edge of the 6-yard box. I'm just watching this now. There's all sorts of shenanigans going on in the park. Players get involved with one another. But as I said, we missed vital players in vital areas, and we didn't have enough, to win the game. But at the end of the day, we gifted Slovakia the 3 points, and that's probably going to be the most disappointing thing. The consolation is, as you rightly said, we do have a back door into the playoffs through the Nations League, but it's going to be a tough game no matter who we play. But at least we're there. Disappointment all round, and it's unlike Northern Ireland to finish a game like this. It really is unlike us. We're getting annoyed with ourselves. We're getting annoyed with other people. Stupid yellow cards been thrown about. Referee give Ballard a red card, which is debatable, but it's a sad way to finish the match tonight. That's all I have to say.
Well, the road to the World Cup still is there. It'll come through that Nations League playoff place. Top two dreams in Group A have been ended by a debut goal off the bench by Bobchek. Full time, Slovakia 1, Northern Ireland 0.